You're listening to the Tiny Vet Podcast with me, Dr. Nicole, exotics veterinarian, and my fiance,
Comedian Jez Watts. As someone who has now tried and failed 50 times to pass the first boss in Elden Ring and who's now getting very, very frustrated, I just want to take my hat off to Nicole for the 150 times she has tried and failed to get me to agree to get a dog.
Has it been 150?
I reckon that's conservative, the estimate. And there will be 150 more, I'm sure.
And then dog.
No. What is the topic today, my love? It's
Top 10.
getting dogs?
Top 10 reasons why Nicole should get a Pekingese.
I feel like, some of the episodes are definitely maybe a little too specific. This is going to be the most specific of all.
Number one.
The listenership is just me.
Today actually is syringe training your pet.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
so what Ella does, you actually train most animals to do that.
Right.
So our rabbit Ella, she's 11. She's on a couple of medications a day.
It's not heroin use for animals.
No, but she reminds us if we are late giving her medication, and she'll come up and she just takes it from the syringe.
Which, just to clarify, she takes orally. Like, we don't inject her with a syringe.
Yeah. You can't train animals to inject themselves. I am sorry. Maybe
thumbs.
one day, but not this
day. Yeah, they gotta
day.
have thumbs first.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, as I understand it, though, like, because this medication she takes is sweet, she considers to be a treat.
Yes.
And most medications probably are not enjoyable.
Most
or
medications
delicious.
are not, but also animals are just like, ooh.
Yeah, right.
Yucky, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so it ends up being like a big thing. And I've had people, like grown people, telling me that their 2-kilogram rabbit, they can't possibly medicate. So
This is me saying it, right?
Yeah. So like
if Ella
usually
was not complicit in this, I don't think I could give her
usually
medicine.
involves some form of picking up and holding and shoving into mouths.
And being the bad guy.
And same thing like for dogs and cats as well, like pills. And there's a lot of dogs that are very talented in eating the piece of cheese that the pill is in.
The pill.
Yeah, and then they spit the pill out. So some dogs are very good at that.
But aren't most of the dog medications like flavored in a way they like? Or
They
is it
are.
only
So
some of them?
like stuff like parasite prevention, they're beef flavored. The antibiotics that I gave you once upon a time were also beef flavored. But I think they obviously still taste weird, like the human medications where it's like cherry flavored. I'm like ass flavored. Really, is
Which
what
I'm
you
a fan
should.
of.
Which what they should be described as. But
yeah, sure.
I digress.
Well, no, because I think medication inherently is going to have a sharp taste because it's a concentration of things that you wouldn't normally find in nature, and so most animals find that unpleasant.
And there are some medications that just naturally taste like intense butt.
Sure. Intense butt.
Oh, so bad. Like
Yeah,
I've tasted almost every liquid medication we stock because I'm curious.
Just for fun?
Just for fun. Well, because some of them are universally hated. I'm like, I wonder why.
Right.
And you taste and you're like, oh, that's why, because it's disgusting.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, like super bitter. Tramadol liquid, super bitter. Just foul, makes you gag.
Right.
And that's almost universally hated.
Yeah, okay. So, yes, how do you syringe train
So
them?
basically, when your pet's still young or, before your pet gets sick, teaching them that things that look like pills and things that come out syringes are nice. And even if they're not nice, they're going to get a treat afterwards.
Right, yeah.
So it's in
like
their
with many things.
Yeah, so really, when you see that coming, just eat it.
Yeah, okay. It's going to be to your benefit.
Yeah, so one way with syringes are really easy. If you've got a rabbit or something or a rat, fruit juice, that kind of stuff in a syringe.
Right, so before
and then you feed it to them in the syringe.
Before you ever need to give them medication, you give them a nice thing
in a syringe.
In the way you give that medication. Yeah.
And they're gonna go, this is fantastic.
Interesting.
I love it.
Yeah, okay.
And then the next time, when they actually had to give them medication, give them the medicine, they're going to make a face and then chase it with a syringe full of nice stuff.
Right, interesting.
And then they're just going to come up to you. It's going to be completely stress-free. It's voluntary. They come up to you and they get their medication.
Yeah, cool.
So I really like that. For dogs as well, it can even be something where there is a particular treat that is their pill treat. So it's like a piece of cheese or something like that. And they get just plain pieces of cheese a bunch of times, but sometimes there's a pill in it.
Yeah, okay.
And usually what happens is that they're like, this is the best, and they just eat the whole thing, and they're probably just not going to notice that there's any difference in that particular piece of cheese.
Okay, right. Yeah. And so you've been doing this from when the animal's super young.
Yeah. So when the same time that you're doing any other training.
Yeah, okay.
Or you can even do, the one where you physically put the pill down their throat.
Yeah.
And again, you can do that with a command, so like medicine, and then that happens with a dummy pill or, just a...
That's really hard, though, or...?
No, it's really easy.
Okay.
Yeah, and then...
What about, like, sugar pills? Like,
Yeah.
literally
so you
placebos?
Yeah, so you
to
can
train them that pills are delicious?
Yeah. And then, you go, medicine or whatever, you put the pill down your throat, you rub their throat, they swallow it, then you praise, good dog, fantastic, and then they get, a piece of cheese or something like that.
Yeah, sure.
So there's lots of ways you can do it, and I really think that all young animals should be taught this, because it just makes everything so much easier. I guess people don't think of it, because your animal's healthy,
I never would think of it, yeah.
And they're not going to go, oh, let's prepare for when he's going to get sick.
Yeah.
I guess it's like smokers, it's not going to happen to us, it'll be fine. But
Right.
The amount of...
And I just want to say, we are, here at the Tiny Bit Podcast, we are opposed to dog smoking.
Don't let your dog smoke.
No. It's habit forming.
It is. And they can't read, so they can't read all the information against it.
Yes, that's
really the biggest problem.
That's why they put the photos on there.
So really, we
it's
should...
for the dogs specifically, because they couldn't read.
Look at this. Look how bad this person looks.
Yeah.
No.
Look at Brian. That's a very Australian reference, but yeah.
Which one's Brian?
Oh, I don't know. He's one of these guys that got really sick and died from smoking's bad for dogs. I think we can all agree with that.
We can all agree on that. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Medicine training makes your life a lot easier when you finally have to give them medicine. Like imagine if Ella, you wouldn't be able to do it.
No. So we have 3 rabbits. Ella loves the syringes. And I think it's because her medicine happens to be nice, and so she's got. Did you actually syringe train her when she was young?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so
it just happens that she's an enormous lard ass.
She likes to eat. She also likes KFC crumbs. But yeah, our son Dusty.
That's a bit of a problem.
Well, he's not really comfortable with syringe feeding in his mouth or whatever, like for medicine. And so you have to pick him up, you have to stuff it in his mouth and then put it in. And so anytime you're away and I have to do it, he just gets a bunch of medicine on his chin that he has to lick off for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I can't do it.
And the problem is that he's so dumb that he's untrainable, so it's not like I could syringe train him.
That's true.
He's a very, very dumb rabbit.
Like father, like son.
The Tiny Vet Podcast is brought to you by Upilio. Sources for our topics can be found at upilio.io. Outro music by Matt Charleston.